In this video, we're going to talk about how to get away with saying whatever it is that you want in an ethical way. So let's get into it. So for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Michael Guerrero. I used to be an ammo tech in charge of the security for the West Coast of the United States when it comes to the Marine Corps and all the ammunition that they have there. Now, while I was there, I got to work with a lot of cool and different people that did different tasks. So what do I mean by this? I got to work with people that were in EOD, that were in security, that were intelligence, so on and so forth, ATF, TSA, and all these other things, because my job was an integral factor because of, well, weapons of mass destruction. How do you go ahead and, disable these things before you store them and handle them? And then, of course, if somebody's trying to break in or stop your supply chain, one of the first things they're going to do, especially in combat, is take out your supplies, and ammunition just happens to be one of them because, well, let's face it, without bullets, how are you going to use a gun besides using it as a blunt weapon? So we used to do a lot of cross training. And one of the things that I wanted to share with you was something that I shared with someone named Thayer. She was a junior Marine that was under my charge and under my leadership, and it was my job to go ahead and steer her clear of certain things. Now, mind you, Thayer had a mouth on her, so I had to show her how to curb her enthusiasm, as they say, by having her study all the punitive articles and laws that we have when it comes to communications and talking to not only just other Marines, but superior officers as well, because sometimes they would discredit her, make fun of her for being a woman, etc. So I showed her how to walk the fine line, as they say, or see the silver lining and then stay in between that so that she didn't cross over and get hit with a ninja punch, which we call non-judicial punishment for disrespecting an officer or whatever the case may be. Now, some of the ways we used to do this, and we used to have some words that we used to sneak by one another in order to let people know what was about to happen or what could happen or if there was danger, so on and so forth. But how will we know this? Well, just like the computer and the internet has SEO, we would have keywords that we would use that would signal to the other person, hey, I'm about to say something crazy, or hey, I'm about to start using my words very intricately, or hey, I'm going to start using entendres. Now, if you know me from anything, it's mostly because I speak in entendre, philosophy, and metaphor, because I like to make connections. And then, of course, because we have to get information through to each other as quickly as possible, entendres are the best way to do it. So I'll give you a couple stories, and an example. So with Thayer, I had her go and read the punitive articles. And then the next time she actually went out and spoke to somebody of a superior ranking, she got to get away with what she wanted to say because she was able to quote not only the articles, but the fact that the gentleman was wrong because he did not know his material when it comes to the NAVSEA SWO Glove Box Edition, or the Handbook Glove Box Edition, which is the way you would transport ammunition. So she had him on 2 accounts, and he couldn't really rebuttal besides, I'm more of a rank than you. And that wasn't really good of a fight. So she got to put him in his place. And then she started to understand how the dynamics work socially, because this does come down to social dynamics, communication, and understanding. Now, when we were talking as far as a security thing was going on, so on and so forth, and I needed to tell one of my people that something was about to go on, or I would use my words intricately. I use this example with another friend of mine. If any of you watched the TV show Bleach, I used to be like, yo, bunkai, and everybody knew what it meant. Well, in the TV show Bleach, there's a bunch of warriors in there, and they use swords and everything like that. And when they say the word bankai, it unleashes the special abilities of the sword. Now, the reason why I would say this is because, well, if you say words, take the letter, or should I say the word words, take the letter S and move it to the front, it spells sword. Now, words, although we live in a country that has freedom of speech, can cause people to pull out a lot of things outside of a sword. So we used to have code words in order to understand and orchestrate, hey, when I say this out loud, I'm going to start using words specifically, and I'm going to start steering the conversation or taking charge or saying a lot of things to a lot of people. So, hey, pay attention. This is how I use my verbal sword. Now, that's just an example. Of course, it was a different word, but this is something that you can utilize on your own. Maybe you're a parent around children and you want to say something and the kids don't know. Remember, We learned from children. Cap these days doesn't mean I'm going to bust a cap in you. It means that they're lying or somebody is lying. So they already figured out how to get away with saying the words that they want to say without offending anybody because they assign a different meaning to it. And when you do that, your attachments to certain words and characteristics and understandings of those words get released because you have a broader understanding of what they mean. So, another thing you can do is, well, how do you hide things in plain sight? Well, using that keyword principle, once you say it or you slip it into the conversation. Hey, did you see the TV show the other night, the new episode of Bleach that came out, the 1,000-Year War, etc.? Did you see how he has 2 swords now and he fights, so on and so forth? And then, of course, no, that's his new Bunkai. Yeah, no, it's 2 swords, etc., blah, 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 instead of the one that he had before. Because I snuck it into the conversation, nobody was the wiser. One, because we were talking about anime, and not many people are, into it. And if you are into it, welcome. You're awesome because you're in my world. So they understood what we were saying. However, the meaning of the one word stood out the most because it was not only mentioned before to the teammates, but it was mentioned within the scenario itself. So they were known to pay attention at that time. Now, you could do this with other things as well, as far as ciphers and things like that. One more thing is, like, when you're trying to pass messages, an old school way of doing this. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I saw the TV show Suits with Harvey Specter and Mike Ross. Now, although Mike Ross studied law, he is not a lawyer or an attorney because he never took the bar exam or graduated law school, but he does assist, and it's a whole beautiful thing between him and Harvey. And yes, there is a difference between a lawyer and an attorney. I'll let you look into that yourself. However, when it comes to their dynamics, Harvey says a specific thing. He goes, life is like this. I like this, so on and so forth, right? And then he looks at Mike and he tells him in a different scene, he goes, when life hands you lemons, what do? And Mike goes, you make lemonade. He goes, no, you make chocolate cake and you leave the other team wondering how the hell it is that you did it. So on and so forth. And now you can also do that with, well, AI. AI can help you come up with your own languages, so on and so forth. I know because I've tried it and I mix different languages together, etc. Or you could come up with different ciphers. But if you want to pass messages along in a secretive way or a super cool way, like the cool people that are in security or intelligence or whatever, an old traditional method was to use lemon juice and a paintbrush or a quill pen to go ahead and write the message, and then to also, once it was delivered, after everything dried, you would be able to either put that in a warm space, like an oven or over a fire. And because of the lemon juice, it would actually turn brown and it would reveal what was underneath. Now you could do something similar to what's called a friction pen that is designed by, I think, Bic. And you could find that at any Staples or Office Depot. And what's really cool is once you write with it, you can take a lighter and put it underneath and the whole message disappears because of the heat. It actually causes the ink to vanish. The way the ink would come back or the writing would come back is you throw it in the freezer and you're able to reveal everything once again. Now, if you want to take this a step further, you can use a permanent pen over the letters you want to stand out. Now, when it reads like a normal letter, but if you were to take a lighter and erase everything, you would see the letters that stand out because it was written in permanent ink. And now that's how you get another message across. If this video was helpful for you and you always wanted to go ahead and get away with saying things that you wanted to say, you know what? Just go ahead and do it. Or you could go ahead and listen to music that has words in there that makes you feel better because it's saying the very thing that you want to say, and nobody could judge you for it because, well, who's going to get mad over someone singing a song? So if this video helped you, go ahead and smash that like button. Don't forget to follow me for more details like this, and I will talk to you in the next video. Take care.